What is going on, warriors? This is your man Johnny F here, and in today's video, we're going to run through the question that I get constantly asked.
How much L-Theanine should I take?
So you're going to want to stay tuned. Welcome to Next Level Warrior. It's great to have you here. Now, for anyone that's new to the channel, we cover topics surrounding leveling up your health and personal development to help you become your next level self. So if that sounds good to you, then make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and select all notifications to catch my videos posted every week. So how much L-Theanine should you take? In order to answer this question, we really need to separate the reasoning behind taking it. So ask yourself, or better yet, write out these categories and list out on a scale of 1 to 5, how important are they for you? Are you taking it to enhance your focus, to reduce anxiety, balance caffeine side effects, enhance caffeine, protecting your brain and nervous system from diseases, staying sharp, or improving your memory? Once you have a rough idea of what's most important to you, then arrange this list in that order to gain some clarity on why you're actually taking this. For me personally, I actually spoke about this in my recent video on taking L-Theanine for 5 years straight, which I'll link in the description below. But I started taking it specifically to balance caffeine's negative side effects that were much stronger for me due to my extra sensitivity of only ever having coffee on an empty stomach during my intermittent fasting windows. Eventually though, I really started to tune into the effect it was having on my life, making it easier to transform habits, manage anxiety, and make better decisions, leading to an improvement in my mental health. As a result, L-Theanine is totally a go-to in my medicine cabinet. Now I'm going to say this first and foremost when it comes to dosage, especially if you're going to take it daily like me. Do not, I repeat, do not increase your dose at the first sign of not feeling it. Believe me, it's working. It's doing its thing. Unless, of course, you have an inferior brand that's filled with cheap D-theanine as opposed to pharmaceutical-grade L-theanine powder. This grade specifically is rarely labeled and hard to find out about unless you specifically reach out to the producers and request a certificate of analysis. Of course, I've gone ahead and done this work already to source the best quality and what I found to be the best cost when getting a larger quantity of it. And the team over at Bulk Supplements were nice enough to provide me with a discount code for everyone that gets anything from bulksupplements.com. So I suggest getting the biggest bag that you can afford, since the value is extremely good the larger quantity you get. These capsules, for example, here, they cost 5 times more per dose than getting this 1 kilo bag. Obviously, this might be too big for a lot of you, but I always suggest splitting it with your friends to save on the cost. And for my Canadian fam out there, if you stay within a certain cost range, then there aren't really any duties charged, only taxes on the order. Links and codes are in the description, and if you found another great reputable brand, then please do share it with us in the comments. Anyway, if you take it daily, then please make sure to keep your dose as consistent as possible. For me, after a few years of sticking with the daily 200 to 300 milligram dose mixed into my morning coffee, it's always worked its magic. It keeps my mind clear, helps me get into long states of flow for excellent levels of creativity and productivity due to the alpha brainwave state that it puts me in. Now, I tested my tolerance pretty hard a few weeks back when I took the Theanine challenge, which you can check out here if you missed it. Basically, I took nearly 20 times my daily amount with over 5,000 milligrams, and on the following days, I went right back to my 200 to 300 milligrams. So what happened? Well, I was left feeling coffee side effects again because of this huge contrast in that ultra mega dose that I took from one day to the next. So taking my normal dose was barely effective, and it took me nearly a week to get back to the baseline. After those 7 days, I finally felt normal again and not all jittery and anxious during the coffee high time. Coffee high time. So while that was a lengthy explanation, I trust that my point got across when it comes to messing with your tolerance. And if so, type in loud and clear in the comments. Come on. Now, I'm a fan of simplicity when it comes to remembering things easier and saving time. So let's split up those categories mentioned at the beginning of this video into 3 categories. If you're taking it for productivity, boosting the caffeine effect, keeping your mind clear, then go with the 100 to 200 milligram range single dose with coffee, starting in the early part of the day. And another dose if needed if you drink more coffee later on. If you're taking it to manage anxiety, improving social anxiety, or preventative maintenance of a healthy brain and nervous system, then you might want to stick around 100 to 150 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day, starting first thing in the morning. Now, it's important to note that you want to always use the lowest effective dose. Some of us are more sensitive to it than others, and on the other side, many of you may not feel that it's doing much while it actually is. So if you feel that you're generally sensitive to these things, then start with 50 to 100 milligrams and work your way up from there. Now, the third category is for use when needed. And this is one of the biggest reasons that I suggest always having it around at home. Keep it in your medicine cabinet. Whether it's to prepare for something you're really nervous about, like an exam, going to the dentist, or for emergencies when dealing with something serious like emotional physical stress, such as the loss of a loved one, this is where I would suggest going the megadose route, which I do ask you to exercise caution when using theanine as needed. Personally, I'd take 500 to 1,000 milligrams dissolved in water for such cases. Now, theanine has been studied greatly when it comes to dosage and other aspects, and while there are side effects in high doses, they're typically pretty minimal, ranging from the possibility of a headache, some digestive upset, to reduced blood pressure, which is also the only warning you'll ever see on packaging. So make sure to avoid mixing it with any blood pressure medication, as it could interact with it in a negative way to reduce your blood pressure to dangerous levels. Now, you don't need a milligram scale, but if you have one, then definitely measure this out at least a few times in order to get good at eyeballing 150 to 300 milligrams to see what it looks like. As long as your dosing is relatively consistent and you don't go up huge, then your tolerance should maintain balance. And for those of you that don't have a proper scale, then use a measuring spoon. I know this is not very accurate, but it's about simplicity here and being within a range that you choose. You can see here that a half teaspoon is approximately 200 milligrams. And clearly this is far from accurate, but the point here is to make this seamless and simple, if you intend on using this daily or often, like myself. As long as it's relatively even dosing and you're not steadily increasing the amount, then chances are that theanine will keep giving you the same result, just as I've experienced for the last 5 years. And this brings me to the question of the day. Was there anything that I missed here? Anything else you'd like to know? Drop your questions and suggestions in the comments alongside any future video suggestions that you'd like to see around this topic. And if you'd like to see what happens when you megadose on nearly 6 grams of L-Theanine, then click on this video right here and let me know if you'll try the Theanine challenge. Like this video to support the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more weekly videos on becoming your next level self, and never stop growing.